One of the things we did with Jarvis is that we actually had it generate a bunch of questions for us. There's actually a topic idea generator, and we went in there and we had it generate like, here's 10 questions to answer on the podcast. And we're like, let's do an episode where we literally answer the AI generated questions.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Hustle and Flowchart podcast with your boys, Matt Wolfe and Joe Fier.
Hey.
Oh, hey.
Welcome
I
back.
almost didn't recognize you.
You didn't?
No, because you're looking so festivus.
I thought the whole point of
And you have
this
a backward
was that
hat.
we were not even going to address the fact
Shit.
that we're
Do
wearing...
we need to redo this episode?
No,
All
let's
right. So for YouTube, maybe this is where we start. Hey, Matt, good to see you here. You're making mighty fine looks today.
Thank you.
Damn it, I brought up the looks again. Why am I bringing up
It's
looks?
fine. Don't worry about it. We're good. We're
Just
good.
look so good right now, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
Not talking about our looks today, though. That's not the point of this
We're not.
episode, huh?
We're talking about beer. This actually isn't even a beer.
No.
We'll get to that in a second, actually.
our alcoholic beverages, and I have a non-alcoholic as well, kombucha.
Yeah.
All
There
right.
you go. So here's what we're going to talk about today. So there's a cool tool that we've been playing with called conversion.ai. I think they're rebranding to Jarvis now.
Somehow, some way. I don't know.
in
I think
some
it's still
way.
conversion.ai.
Yeah, everybody
We have a URL.
Yeah,
Somehow.
hustleandflowchart.com/conversion. So we're this tool conversion.ai or Jarvis. What it does is it basically writes copy, and it well, that's really underselling it. Basically,
It's a brain that you can tap into. It feels like copy's underselling it. It's essentially like, hey, here's a black box of knowledge that it's like taking information from the web and molding it to your likes, to the inputs that you give it, and for 30 different modes, and now they have this beast or boss mode that gets it's basically people are writing books in like a weekend now. We'll talk about the downside of some of this, but yes, that's it's doing a lot of stuff.
It's an artificial intelligence tool that basically helps you come up with ideas for topics to write about. It helps you come up with headlines, subject lines. It will write full emails for you, full blog posts. We even know some people that have used it to write full books now. We're going to get into all of the different cool ways that you can use Jarvis, but one of the things we did with Jarvis is that we actually had it generate a bunch of questions for us. There's actually a topic idea generator, and we went in there and we had it generate here's 10 questions to answer on the podcast. And we're like, let's do an episode where we literally answer the AI generated questions. And then we'll sprinkle in some real questions from the audience, since we're doing that now.
We are doing that.
And we'll answer those real questions, but let's answer these questions that Jarvis created for us. Let's talk about all the implications of this tool and all the cool ways we've been using it and seen other people use it.
And AI in general, like these marketing tools, because there's a lot more other, Jarvis is the big AI tool that's kind of making a name for itself right now, but there's other ones popping up that...
Well, it's based on the
change the game.
GPT-2, and we'll get into all of this in a little bit. Make sure you grab the notes on this episode. If you go to flowchartgroup.com, you can join our Facebook group, and when you join our Facebook group, there is also the ability to enter your email address, and we'll send you the action guide to this episode.
Yeah, you definitely want to plug in your email address. Be quick, 2 weeks. After 2 weeks of this episode going live, those free notes for this episode go away.
Yeah.
Get replaced by another one, but, get these notes, go fast, flowchartgroup.com, plug in your email address. But that group, by the way, in flowchartgroup.com is where you can also ask some questions.
Yeah.
So that'll be at the end of the episode. We get into the listener questions. So if you ever have, you want to get featured on here, we'll give you a shout out. Maybe if you send us some cool drinks like this or something, we'll shout out your brand or something. We're suckers for free cool stuff. So.
We are.
But you got to be in the group, all right? Because that's where our homies hang out. So it's at flowchartgroup.com, and definitely just have fun with us. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Because we obviously hate having fun here.
We hate having fun. Anyway.
Hey, a couple other things. PodHacker.
Yes.
That thing's been fun. We've been on a lot of... We've been featured a lot more, we'll say, talking on podcasts. We just did a live stream today with Rich Sheffrin, and that was cool. That was 2 hours. That was a long live stream. Flew by, though.
PodHacker used to be coming soon at podhacker.com. It's no longer coming soon.
That's kind of what I was getting at.
Ah.
We made a change recently. Yeah. So, we've been putting we have a lot of clarity, as you probably sense from these previous episodes, where we've kind of siloed certain things in our business. We've shut a lot of stuff down, but PodHacker is its standalone core offer. This is our flagship program that basically is it's the black box of it's like everything that we do for our systems behind the podcast, but also our business as it kind of extends out from the podcast. But PodHacker is we've been giving it a lot of love in a lot of places. So you should go check out PodHacker. Like, if you haven't checked it out, it is available for everyone now.
PodHacker.com.
And we have a little surprise pricing over there, too.
Oh, yeah.
We've made a little change. So go to PodHacker.com.
Why do we have these hechos in front of us?
I don't know what a hecho is, Matt. Hecho.
Hecho?
You are from San Diego. You're not that bad at Spanish, are you?
I thought hecho was like...
I don't know. Hecho. Okay, so what we have here, and we are not sponsored by this brand, we have tequila sodas. So a hecho, or a hecho, as Matt says, I don't know which one's best, is a tequila soda, and it's made with tequila, blanco, 100% agave, and carbonated water, and some lime flavor.
Yeah, so...
No sugar added. Beautiful.
So we're in this office building now where our recording studio is, and we were walking back from lunch on, Friday? Mm-hmm. We were walking back from lunch, and as we were walking up, a guy came up to us who's also in this office, and he offered us a 4-pack of his hechos.
Hechos, yeah. We're let's set the scene a little bit more than this, okay. Mr. Matt. We were walking back from our favorite taco shop down the street, and Ryan,
which is also the taco shop we had today.
Yes. You can imagine what we might have been eating. We've talked about this before. Today we actually did not have burritos, but California burritos. Yeah. Today was tacos, but same taco shop. Mm-hmm. But Ryan and I'm actually you pronounce this
Ryan Carruthers is what I believe it's pronounced like.
So Ryan Carruthers, brother. Mm-hmm. He was so cool. I got to give him a shout out. Check out his podcast. He wants to get on other shows too, so I'm gonna give him a little nod here. So if you should book Ryan for your show. He's a badass. He's a cool guy. You can find him at flowchartgroup.com.
He's in the group.
So Ryan, I hope that helps you get on some podcasts. Seriously. But Ryan, I want to give you a shout out because you literally out of the blue you asked to send us some money, but you sent me an email and you're like, dudes, I'm in the UK and I just had a kid and my wife doesn't want to move to San Diego or California, or maybe she does, but just, I get it. It's kids. And you're in the UK. So you said it was like 10,000 miles away. It's, I don't know, maybe that's true. It's probably more than that or less. I don't know. But he was like, I want to send you some money for for burritos, California burritos. Mm-hmm. So he was super cool. PayPal'd us some cash. And guess what we did right after that, Ryan?
We went and bought California burritos.
And that is exactly what set the scene for this story, too.
Yeah, so shout out to Ryan.
Same day.
I forgot how the stories overlapped.
It was identical. So we were walking back from the taco shop.
That we just used Ryan's money to buy burritos with.
Thank you. We actually invested Ryan's money.
Into burritos.
Into a small business, local business.
In my belly.
And in our bellies, which fuels us to create such awesome episodes for y'all. So, or you. Shouldn't be talking to multiple people, an audience, just single person.
We're just talking to you, Steve.
Yeah, just you,
Mark,
or Ryan, or Susan. All right, so we were walking back, and we were actually chatting about our podcast, if you remember, because now it's all coming back together. We were talking about the direction we're taking with this thing. We're not really going down this rabbit hole now, but the whole point is, we had y'all on the mind, the podcasters and the YouTube listeners, and we want to up-level everything here. So we kind of landed on, we want to always highlight the new and the novel people, but also tools like Jarvis and step it up like big time in terms of the topics we're talking about, the guest names, like the ability to get the big name folks. Like we want to start reaching more, and really kind of getting out of our wheelhouse or our bubble. Like we really want to take this thing up, man. So we were talking about that on the wall.
We were talking about that on the wall.
I don't know if there's any more you wanted to add to that.
No,
but I wanted to finish that story. Though.
I think we'll, what we talked about on the walk and where we're taking the podcast, that stuff will come out naturally over more episodes and whatnot. But cool. We were getting the burritos and walking back, and as we were walking up the ramp,
with alcohol in hand,
we actually had a pack of Cutwaters, which
some mules,
vodka mule Cutwaters. We were walking up because we were gonna have a drink with our burritos, and those were on Ryan too because he gave us more money than burritos cost.
Well, he gave us not beer money, alcohol money too. Yeah. And that was actually supporting another local company.
That's true.
Not a small business because they just got bought out for like a bunch of money.
Yeah.
But carry on.
Pretty sure Cutwaters and Anheuser-Busch now or something.
They scored. So if you're listening to us, Cutwater folks, love y'all. Congrats.
Yeah. So we had these alcohols in hand, and we met one of our new neighbors that we actually hadn't met yet. And so we were standing around talking to him, and one of his clients walked up and just handed us this 4-pack pack of Hechos.
Yeah, he's like, brothers, you guys need some alcohol in your life.
He's like, I saw you guys carrying the Cutwaters, and I thought you might want to try these. And he was a distributor for this company. So now this company is getting a free shout out on our podcast. And we actually haven't tried these yet.
Are they San Diego? Hold on, let's do a little read here. Doesn't even say. No, imported. Oh, so they're from Mexico, I'm assuming?
It says tequila? Miami, imported into
Well,
Miami.
that's an import company. So it's, where are you from originally?
So maybe it's not a local business, but it's a local distributor that we're supporting.
Yeah. So, you know what? We're just supporting the dude that gave us free booze. So,
yeah,
it really doesn't show any location at all. So, yeah, I'm getting thirsty.
Let's try.
No cheers?
Well, I was going to crack it first and then cheers.
That. That's the, hold on, sound effects. What up? These are real sound effects.
That actually sounded kind of good.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
what do they call that? ASMR? What's the thing where they like talk real quiet? I don't know.
That's a cheers. Yeah.
Cheers.
Well, there's a lot of different types of it. This is a horrible cheers. I keep hitting your fingers. It's not an official cheers. All right.
That sounded more like you were smoking a bong than drinking
It
a
wasn't.
beer.
It was actually a these don't have any sugar in them. I taste a lot of tequila.
No, that's tequila and soda water.
And a little splash of lime.
Or not even soda water. No, it's a little splash of agave.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's as I was slowly drinking that, I was just like, wow, I'm just tasting straight up tequila.
You know what it tastes like to me? This tastes like a tequila flavored LaCroix. If LaCroix had a tequila flavored LaCroix, this is what that would taste like.
That's a very good point. I would agree with that
because
statement.
it's like it tastes mostly like carbonated water with like a hint of tequila. So if anybody wants some tequila flavored LaCroix,
Hecho.
Try Hecho.
Hecho tequila soda.
And we'll be sipping on this throughout the episode.
Hecho. Yeah.
It's only a 5%, so we shouldn't get too trashed off one of them.
I think we've done worse. This is funny.
We've never podcasted drunk before.
Ever. But surprisingly, this is the very first time we have done a podcast with an open alcohol beverage in this studio.
In this studio, yeah.
And it's actually been kind of rare when we have alcohol in our systems.
Yeah, we've actually only...
While podcasting.
We've drank in this office space. So we've been here for, 3 months now?
Yeah, something like that.
We've drank here.
I don't know.
Drank?
I was like, I'm going to give you sass, but I actually don't know what the correct
We've had alcohol here twice ever.
There you go.
And the first time was last Friday when we got our burritos.
We're so lame.
And our second time is right now.
Hey, cheers to that.
Cheers to our second time drinking in the new studio.
And it's a Tuesday at 3.
3:24 p.m.
All right, fine. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Sad to say it. So it was funny because this has me reminiscing back to our samurai days, and I know we referenced this in the podcast episode last week.
Yes,
but
we were actually watching clips of it this morning.
Well, we found some B-roll, and we went down the rabbit hole, and we looked at some of this video. We couldn't watch too much of it because
cringe.
You should check out hustleandflowchart.tv. Look at last week's episode we released because Jacob did splice in some B-roll that we located, and we were literally on the hunt in Dropbox accounts from 10 plus years ago,
YouTube accounts from 12 years ago.
We predate Mr. Beast. Take that, Mr. Beast. Hopefully that Mr. Beast heard that.
I actually don't know when Mr. Beast's channel started, so don't quote us on that.
Was he even alive yet?
In 2009? That would mean he's 12 years old.
Well.
Or younger.
It's probably when he started, actually. It's right around then.
Probably.
So he probably did beat up.
I don't know. We started our YouTube channel in 2009, okay? Just not the Hustle and Flowchart channel.
Are you yelling at me?
No, I was yelling at the camera. See, I looked at the camera and yelled.
Yeah, you watching us on YouTube. I'm sorry for him. Yeah. All right. To that, we drink.
Okay.
All right. Are we going to drink for certain reasons, or are we... No, we're making this too much of a thing. They don't need that much love. Head All right. But we were looking back at these videos
Every time you say the word conversion, you drink. Or Jarvis.
We're
doing a whole episode about...
We do have more head show in the fridge over there, so because I have a feeling we're going to say conversion or Jarvis. Drink. A lot in this episode. All right, those ones are passes.
All right.
So we're back in the day. Yeah, we were talking about how we started off by basically chatting in your garage with Samurais and Suzuki Samurais. We both had them, but we found some videos with you and I. You were in a cutoff, I think, for that video.
Yeah.
And it was cringy, and we were thinking about all these other, we've had Josh Bartlett from Thrivecart who lives in New Zealand. Well, I almost spilled that intro. But he actually flew and joined us for one of
one of our samurai sessions. That's true.
We never published that one, I don't think. We didn't publish many of them.
If you're watching the video on YouTube, this is my impression of us filming those videos in that day.
No, it was also under our nose too. It was like a lot of up the nostril,
and then turning it around and looking up. Yeah. So what did you think of that? You know,
it was very like Blair Witchy.
Yeah, lots of camera movement.
Yeah, it was the flair of the times, Matt. That's how YouTubers kept engagement back then.
Yeah, that's true. The common wisdom at the time was you got to be real, so you want it to look like really very unpolished. Well, now YouTube's gone the other direction, and now YouTube's like, if it's not polished, people won't pay attention to it.
It's got to level up the standards, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's true because we had our flip cams at the time. I think that's what we were using.
Yeah.
So we didn't have phone.
Mine was a Kodak ZI8.
Yeah, we both got those. It started with flip.
Yeah.
And then it went to Kodak ZI8.
ZI8, yeah.
As Bartlett would always say. But yeah, those are freakishly pretty good cameras though. Like they lasted a while.
I'm actually surprised when we watched the video back recently of like the video quality's actually still kind of holding up.
We had good stuff though,
yeah.
But it wasn't like some crazy expensive thing. But you all probably remember the flip cams.
I think it was shooting like 720p or something, which is actually still fairly standard on places like YouTube. So
which is wild, yeah. This far out, but far out. It was crazy to like look back and we kind of reminisced a little bit, and that actually came up on our Rich Sheffrin live stream today. We were talking to him. We're like, dude, you were actually one of the guys back in the day we were studying from. We had no clue what the hell you were saying because we were not ready for that style of content yet. His strategery, but it was cool because it was all kind of, I don't know, we were able to reminisce a little bit with him, and he was part of that journey. But all that to say is, now we're going to talk about alien technology, AI, and Jarvis.
I don't think that stands for alien technology.
No, it doesn't. But I want to say it every single time.
But
AT, I know, but still, it feels like alien technology when you use it. Jarvis, that is. Yeah. We're bringing up Rich actually for a reason, because we talked about AI on his live stream, and we were talking all about podcasting, and we were talking about the merits of having a podcast, and also video content and all that stuff, i.e. PodHacker.com. And he was talking about how we should definitely be aware of emerging technologies like Jarvis, Conversion.ai, also things like Descript, things that basically allow us to start to automate more of the creative side, or at least a lot of the things that would take a lot of time and effort. And, he was basically saying how if he was seeing, and we've seen as well, people writing books in a weekend using Jarvis. They're able to, you can publish, there's so many people here, like we're actually on screen right now, Reed Florin. If you go to his if you just look him up, there's a Jarvis Facebook group. You should definitely go pop in. Molly Mahoney is one of the big contributors, and she's a good buddy of ours. She's been on the podcast here, but this guy Reed Florin, he's been around the game a long time too.
We actually, with Molly, our most recent PodHacker expert session, like this whole second hour of our session was Molly generating content using Jarvis, and showing it in real time.
It was good, and she had her own process. And the thing that we're noticing now, and this is kind of like what Rich was saying, is like, man, there's so many processes, and it's getting easier to even like string softwares together using something like Jarvis and like say Surfer SEO and other things that are going to help you basically say like, yeah, you should write something about this topic, like a blog post. And these are the types of things you should cover in that blog post. And now you can use Jarvis to basically have it do the writing for you based off of a couple of inputs you give it, and selecting the right tools to give you the right outputs. But like, we're on this guy Reed Florin's page right here. He's active in the group, and he has all these copy templates that you can follow like Perry Belcher's 21-step sales letter formula, and how you can essentially more or less copy and paste this into Jarvis or Conversion.ai.
So Jarvis has this mode called boss mode, and boss mode basically looks like kind of like a Google Doc where you could just type freely into it, but you can give it commands. So you can tell Jarvis, write me a headline about podcast marketing, and it'll just generate a headline about podcast marketing. And then you can and right below that you can type a sentence that says, write me a paragraph that better explains the headline you just wrote, and then it'll write a whole paragraph. And then you could say, write some bullets around the same topic, and it'll write some bullets out for you.
Yeah, you just it's crazy, and I don't even understand how the workflow, like how seamless it is. But it's to get a picture of it is literally if you go into their Facebook group, the Jarvis Facebook group. I highly recommend checking it out, and maybe we'll link it in the show notes as well. But if you just look up Jarvis official community, that thing is popping off. Like
people are just sharing so many ideas of how to use it, and
Yeah.
and this is where we found Reed Florin stuff. And like Reed Florin, like you were just talking about Perry Belcher's 21-step sales letter. Basically, what it is he gives you the 21 prompts to plug into Jarvis. So like prompt number 1, grab my target audience's attention by calling them out. You would literally type that into Jarvis, and it'll create some sort of call out. Write a headline for the product above that speaks directly to the customer, and then Jarvis would write out a headline, and then you'd type in write a sub headline for the above, and it would write out a sub headline for the thing that Jarvis just generated, and then it goes on and on and on through all 21 of the things that's in Perry Belcher's 21-step process. It gives you all of the Reed is basically giving you all of the commands. You just plug into boss mode, and it'll write the sales letter in that formula.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, you just feed Jarvis, a little bit of like description of the product or whatever you're selling, the service, the offer, and then you essentially, and this is the cool thing, Reed Florin, like what you just said, he essentially is giving you like a recipe to follow. Like, all right, so after you write about something that you already have probably already pre-written around your offer, you can just copy and paste some copy from your sales page or emails that you've already written, throw them in Jarvis, and now, all right, we got Perry Belcher's 21-step sales letter formula. I almost went into like a Texan accent. But like this formula we've used many times, Perry Belcher's 21-step, like this thing's been around and it works, and now you could just type that little blurb about your product and then start just following the instructions, or have someone else on your team do this. Point of this whole meeting, like without going in crazy detail, this could be some scary shit for some people. It's shaking things up. Like obviously copywriters, this is a direct thing. Like boom, all right. Obviously this isn't going to spit out perfect copy by any means, but the fact that a lot of folks can kind of do some decent copy 80% of the way there, maybe. I don't know. I'm just throwing that number out there, but it definitely gets you in the game. Yeah. Using a formula that's been proven, multiple formulas. If you're going to Reed Florin's site, like dude's got a whole bunch of stuff for free. Yeah.
And I mean, like writing sales letters is just kind of scratching the surface. One of the ways that I've been using Jarvis recently is for this podcast, figuring out the titles. A lot of the titles of the episodes for our last, probably 8 episodes or so, I just leveraged Jarvis and just, I would use like there's like one for blog post titles and one for YouTube titles. And I think I was using the YouTube title one to title these podcasts because all of this both lives on YouTube and in podcast land. And so what I do is I'll go and, so for example, we had Angelo Cisco on the podcast recently, right? And I kind of know what we talked about. So I would type in like one sentence about what we talked about, and it would just say, here's 10 ideas of titles that you can use. I picked one of them. Cool. That's the title of the episode. Nice. We had who was on recently that's an author? Oh, Joe Sanok. We had Joe Sanok on recently, right? And Joe, I guess that episode hasn't come out yet, but there's a Joe Sanok episode coming out. And the way I got to the title of that episode was I actually went and found his book on Amazon, grabbed the subheadline of the book, which basically tells you what you're going to learn in the book, plugged it into Jarvis, and then told Jarvis to spit out a title for that episode.
Brilliant. I love that. Actually, the subheadline thing is super smart because that was a suggestion someone gave us a long time ago for titles, which was like look at subtitles or their books. Yeah. But now, you can literally don't even think. And then you can put the tone of voice in the person that you want to have it. And like I think you were testing out like Frank Kern. Yeah. Gary Vaynerchuk. RuPaul. Yeah. That was Molly Mahoney.
That was Molly. No, it's funny the variations. Like I plugged in like Mr. Beast as the voice, right? And when I plugged in Mr. Beast, it was the same kinds of headlines. It just started writing them in all caps lock.
So I mean, the conversation we had with Rich on his live stream earlier today kind of sparked this podcast episode concept because of that, and us using it, of course, is a cool tool, Jarvis. But, Rich brought a good point because we were talking about the power of having a podcast and doing all this content and like repurposing it in smart ways. And he was basically saying, he's like, hey, we all got to be aware that there's this technology, Jarvis, and probably a lot of others coming into play. And right now, people are able to create a really simple system and smart system And you can see all this in that Facebook group I was telling you, because people are just sharing this freely. But like, it's becoming very easy to write books in weekends that are, I think, mainly nonfiction. But actually, it does some fiction stuff pretty well too, because I played around with that, so it can pull off some fiction. But it's gonna, it's automating all sorts of different long form content that would usually take a lot of time and effort. So he was like, yeah, you got to get smart and almost like build more assets, or like I was saying, there's almost like a moat around your content. You can't just like hang on and just think that blogging is going to do the trick, because there might be some people in your niche that are just going to blow it away in terms of SEO because of the amount of content they're putting out there. That's also, Surfer SEO is saying right on this topic. And there's been like, you could do a lot more research, but the writing aspect almost can be done by AI, and then cleaned up by an editor or something. And people are just cranking out content right now. But obviously, it's not so hard or not so easy to do that with audio and video content. Yeah. At least yet. That technology, I'm sure, is coming, but that's still a little further out.
Yeah. I mean, we were watching a video on YouTube recently about this dude who basically created an entire new website just using Jarvis, right? Like, he went and I think he picked the niche. I think he used, Ahrefs or something like that, and picked a niche, and the niche he was doing was like the barbecue and grilling niche or something like that, right? Yeah. And then he went and used Jarvis and Surfer.seo, or not .seo, Surfer SEO and Jarvis to basically find like 100 different blog post concepts. And then he used Jarvis to essentially write articles on each of these concepts. And now he has a whole website in the barbecuing grilling niche.
And that's the thing is like and I'm just kind of scrolling through. I mean, it's wild what people are sharing in their group. I know there's a lot of love for their group, but it's wild. Actually, you know what? There's the David Frey 12-step foolproof sales letter formula as well. David, you might actually be listening. So, hey, David, they've automated you. But it's really cool to have David as a listener, and he's in flowchartgroup.com as well.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I just saw his name. I'm like, man, it's really crazy when people start automating you. Yeah. But, I mean, nonfiction book written, like everyone's just sharing these recipes. So, I mean, this is definitely still a very marketer's kind of thing. But what's to say, give it a few months, a year, probably more like a further out, but like more wider adoption of this kind of technology. I'm sure Jarvis isn't going to be the only one. Yeah, it's not the only one.
What I keep thinking about is, and it actually is kind of scary when you start thinking down this route, but like you look at things like Descript, and we were talking about this with Rich a little bit, but we were also talking about this with, I think, Molly when we had her on the PodHacker session. You've got tools out there like Descript, and like with Descript, you can, it's got functionality in there now. So basically what Descript does is you can import like an audio file. It will transcribe the whole audio file, and then you can edit the audio by editing the transcript, right? So you can like delete a word from the text, and it'll actually delete that word from the audio clip as well. And it also works with videos too. But they've just started rolling out this functionality where it can learn your voice, and you can actually insert words back into the transcript.
I think that's going to be the soonest, not the video side, because that's like super
the video is going to be a little bit harder, but the audio side, you can insert words into the transcript, and it'll read it as your voice because it learns your voice. Now, you have to input like 1,000 hours of content or something insane before it really learns your voice, but like if you misspeak and you want to go back and change a word that you said, you can go in, delete the old word, write in a new word, and the audio will sound like your voice reading the new word. Now, extrapolate that a few years out to where it can do entire like dialogues that sound like your voice.
Sure.
Right? It's getting there. I've heard some pretty damn convincing automated audio now.
One just got used for who's the chef guy that killed himself? Anthony Bourdain. Yeah. Did you hear about this? Like, it just came out in the news the other day where the producer of some documentary, I think it is, used something that he wrote as one of his last things he wrote, and they actually turned it into audio using his voice. And I guess they checked his family and made sure that would be okay. They signed off on, but technically he never recorded that. But it's in some documentary or show about Anthony Bourdain. And it's using, some other technology, similar technology.
Yeah, Adobe has some similar software that I think is way beyond what Descript is at right now.
I'm sure, yeah.
I think they've actually purposely kept it under wraps to avoid some of the deep fake kind of stuff. But like when you extrapolate that, we might get to a point where we go and tell Jarvis to write a blog post in the voice of Gary Vaynerchuk, right? there's enough hours of content from Gary Vaynerchuk on the internet that you can feed it into a tool like Descript and it could learn his voice, right? So what's to say I can't have an article automatically generated that is kind of sounds like the way Gary Vaynerchuk would speak, and then plug it into a tool like Descript, and then have Descript read the whole thing out. Now I have a podcast episode by Gary Vaynerchuk that sounds like something he would say, but Gary Vaynerchuk literally had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, you could do that.
It's crazy.
I mean, yeah.
You can.
could
The technology exists to do that
Yeah.
now. It probably wouldn't be super convincing. You'd probably listen to it and be like, I can hear some flaws in there. But
Yeah, and that's where, and I know the video side, that's like I was listening to one of the Easy Prey podcast episodes with Chris Parker about deepfakes, because I was like, ooh, deepfakes.
Yeah.
And essentially the guy that was making deepfakes said, this is like years and years off, because it takes crazy computing power to do. I mean, at the level we're talking about, like where it's a marketer picking up and doing deepfakes, like that shit's like probably 10 years away.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 at the earliest. But
and even then, the people
even the experts are like going to be far off.
Well, and the people that are creating the technology are trying to create it in a way where faked content is digitally watermarked, so that theoretically you can disprove that it was real in court and things like that. But
wild
it's just,
world, man.
It's just really, really fascinating to see where this stuff is going, because it could get to the point where you and I are creating Hustle and Flowchart podcast episodes and we weren't involved, right? Like we could go in there and say,
Well,
write us an article about write us an article about Facebook advertising.
Yeah.
It creates an article, we plug it into Descript, and then Descript just does the whole podcast in our voices. Right? It could get there with podcasting.
Yeah.
And at that
takes all the
point,
personality out of it, man.
at that point, is podcasting even that valuable? And
Well, this is why we need to be edutainment, or entertainment first, I guess. Education would come first in that whole word I made up. But yeah, you gotta. It's almost like you got to put in your own your personality into this thing. Like that's the part that the robot's going to take a little while. Like you could read words, but how about the tonality and the inflections and the
and the voice cracks.
You can't pull that one off, AI, huh? Come and try. But yeah, but think about like creating. This is, I think, a bigger reason why you want to build a brand. Build a brand around your voice and something that's difficult to replicate. But even that, like, obviously most of us aren't worried about someone ripping us off and trying to be us, because we're like, come on, that should be Gary Vee worried about that.
Although we have plenty of hours of our voices out there.
Well, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people are starting to, and we will in the future. So this is great to think about. And Rich brought up a great point, and I'm happy we're chatting about this, because we should all be thinking about how we build our own platform, or this thing that is a lot more valuable than some standalone piece of content that someone's probably cranking through using Jarvis or some other technology. It's this bigger strategy, the thing of like, why are you creating this content? What's it connected to? What's the next step? There's a lot of other stuff outside of just, let's create a bunch of content and just fucking crank books out and stuff. It's like, cool. What the hell are you going to do with that shit?
Yeah.
Like have a plan. And I think that's where leverage the technology, but be aware, like there's going to be a lot of noise probably like in the written word form.
To me, it feels very similar to what we used to call content spinning, right?
Yeah.
It's like the new version of content spinning, where basically what content spinning was, for anybody who's not familiar, you would take like a blog post that was already written. Maybe you'd find a site that's similar to yours. You would find a blog post that was already written, and then you can plug it into what was called a content spinner, and they would go through all that content and replace a whole bunch of the words so that it read different. But the problem was you'd go and read it, and it didn't read like it was written by a human anymore, because they swapped out the words, and it wasn't very good at figuring out contextually what word should go where. It would just be like, if it sees this word, replace it with this word. And so it would replace a bunch of words, but then it would always read kind of funny. And to me, a lot of what's happening now feels like the new evolution of kind of something similar. But what it's doing is it's totally making all of this content like a commodity. What's to stop anybody from going and buying Jarvis and going, okay, I want to learn about Bitcoin, write me an article about Bitcoin, and just learning straight out of Jarvis. Now content is democratized, I don't know.
Democratized.
I'm just making up words now, but
you're smart.
I'm smart because I don't know what words to say.
Exactly. Playing it well. Keep
going. You get the idea, though. Like, it gets to a point where, like, is there still value in creating content in the future if anybody can have an algorithm generate the same content?
Yeah, and I think that's the point that Rich was kind of making, and I think it's just really getting smart with the strategy. Like, why are you putting out things like I think there is just going to be a lot of noise and people cranking content out for content's sake, because that was kind of like the spinning community, or like, oh, I'm going to SEO the heck out of this thing for this. So knowing that that's on the horizon, and here in maybe some areas, it's probably smart to just just know that these things exist. I think that's all we're doing here, is like bring the awareness to you that there's some really cool technology that, and I wouldn't say like play the Fier card. Joe Fier, get it?
We got it. We got it.
Don't just be all like, we're not just trying to say be a little scared of all this stuff, because this is absolutely amazing.
Oh, I'm not scared by it. I'm fascinated by it. I'm fascinated, and I want to learn how to use this technology as my ally, not my enemy. Like, I want to figure out, like, let's get on the forefront of it so that we figure out how to leverage it as good as anybody.
Yeah. No, sorry. I clicked a button. Didn't know that was going to go to YouTube video. But like, this is just, it's insane. Like how to use AI to write blog copy. I mean, these things are, it's really fascinating. I like the recipes and all that stuff. So I think over time, we are planning to leverage a ton of our content and use Jarvis and figure out recipes. That's what it seems like people are calling them here, for leveraging the audio content that we have and the notes that Sue took and all these other things to essentially write bigger and better posts, and like create more of the audio content into written form. But in between is going to be Jarvis and maybe some other tools and systems. But you'll see what I'm saying once you get into this group and start thinking about like, oh, what are kind of like, what's a thing in my business that might be a bottleneck? Maybe it's sales copy, so like, hey, you could check out some of these, Perry Marshalls or Belchers, or David Frey's,
Valda Albuquerque.
Yeah, and then if you're just struggling to get some blog content out there consistently, then shoot. Yeah, there's all these YouTube videos that you can follow those formats too. So it'd be cool to leverage this technology if you feel like you got to have something a little shored up, or you're tight on cash for content or copywriters.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been game changing for us just in like helping us pick titles for episodes.
Yeah, it just takes our mind out of it almost.
And now we're using it more for emails. We just we did a promotion to our list last week, or maybe it might even still be going on when this episode comes out, where we're promoting Active Campaign and Conversion.ai/Jarvis. But we're basically giving away all of our templates, right? We're giving away.
Oh, dude, it's gnarly.
We have these full email automations, indoctrination sequences, all of these, like this entire sort of funnel map that people would get when they opt into your list. And then we actually have instructions on how to take this entire funnel, plug it into Jarvis, and let it write the emails for you.
Yeah, it's like one click here, add this automation to Active Campaign. And then, to write all the emails, we basically have all these prompts and copy briefs for every 5 different automations. I was just recording we got to record a video later for this.
We do.
Yeah. And each copy brief basically has all the prompts that you need to then go to Jarvis, or just write it out manually if you want to do that. That's cool too. And then you can crank out all these emails super fast. And the idea is to have all your broadcast emails written in under an hour that covers you for the entire month.
Yeah.
So we gave that to our email list. Gave that away for free. Yeah. We're like, dude, this is insane. So we probably won't do that for too much longer.
We're probably going to sell that thing, actually.
Yeah. So Joe Kearns, he was chatting with us, and he is the mastermind that put a lot of this together. So thank you, Joe, and everyone else thanks you as well. So that bad boy needs to be a product.
Yeah. So make sure you're on our list, because we do stuff like that. So flowchartgroup.com is how you can get on the list.
And type the email in there.
Yeah. So I do. So. I want to move into the Q&A portion of this episode, and I also want to kind of prove a point with it.
Okay, what point do you got to prove today?
Why do you got to make fun of me?
I'm not.
The point that I want to prove is that you can use Jarvis to create really good content, even for a podcast.
We're going to do that right now.
We are. Jarvis generated some. So we're asking our audience to submit questions for us to read on the podcast. If you go to hustleandflowchart.com/ask, that'll actually direct you to a post on Facebook where you can ask us questions that we'll answer live on the podcast. But since it's a fairly new thing, we don't have a ton of questions to answer yet. We have, I think, one user-submitted question that we'll answer as well. But also, at the same time, we can prove the point that Jarvis can generate great questions for us to talk about.
They're not as thorough as Winston's question. But I'm sure if we bugged Jarvis enough, we can probably spit out a question just as thorough.
Probably.
Take some effort. But so Winston, thank you very much. Winston Whittles. You actually asked a question last week as well. So, but we didn't. We weren't not too proactive on finding more questions from folks. So
we should just ask all of the questions, not say which one is Winston's, and then the audience can decide which one was automated and which one was generated by Winston. I think it will be pretty damn obvious, to be honest.
I think so too. So we're gonna start with the first one. Who do you think wrote this?
Let's find out. I haven't heard it yet.
What is the one thing you wish people would stop telling you to do?
Take a shower. It's really getting annoying.
Wear this fabulous Hawaiian t-shirt with flamingos all over it.
All right.
You know, that's just, yeah.
I will answer seriously, though. In the business, the thing that I probably want people to stop telling me to do is to use social media more. Because,
are people telling you that?
Yeah.
What, in the business?
Yeah, like on the podcast and stuff. Like people constantly are saying.
Okay. I think even someone on our team. I'm like,
no.
I would never bug you for that.
I'm just saying, in general, as marketing advice, I'm kind of over the advice around using social media, like Twitter, Facebook, stuff like that, organically for marketing, right? Like I like using them all organically for personal stuff, mostly Twitter, to be honest. I don't really use Facebook or Instagram very much, but I do use Twitter for just kind of like organically engaging with people. But from a marketing standpoint, none of the social media platforms really do it for me with like organic marketing. Like they just I just feel like I think you can do it. I think Molly Mahoney and a lot of people have figured out.
She's made for it, man.
Yeah,
like, there's a
Subi
personality.
Zimmerman, some of those people, like they are really, really good at social media organic marketing, and it works really well for them. It fits their personalities. But for me, like I feel like I can go run a Facebook or a Google ad and drive just as much traffic, and that works for me. You know, so like I just feel like there's for me and my personality type, there's a lot better ways to drive the traffic than organic social media. Organic social media, I think, is great for engagement, but not great for, you know, marketing and driving. Well, I guess engagement is marketing, but not
it's
for
like
driving
staying
traffic.
in touch with people more, or staying top of mind.
Yeah.
You
Organic social media, in my opinion, is not a good place to play for traffic.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm actually kind of, I don't think people normally wish me things to stop doing. I don't know.
No, it's things that people tell you to do that you wish they'd stop you.
Yeah, stop telling you to do. That's right. Shoot, man. Like, I don't know. I think it would be along the lines of, like, because I was leaning more towards just the constant communication in general. Like, and there's just like, I don't know. I'm not landing on a perfect one right now, but social media is such the thing that I like repel as well. And I think that sometimes, I don't know.
I'm laughing a little bit because I'm looking at the second question that Jarvis generated.
I just noticed that too. An email is so much better than social media. We're just going to say that right now.
Yeah. So another question that Jarvis generated for us was, what's better, email or social media?
Yeah. I mean, I would take email any day.
Yeah.
But social media, it's got its perks in some ways. It definitely is really cool. But like, I've taken myself out of that game a little bit, but strategic. But I like to use it, though. That's the thing. It's like this weird pull.
Yeah.
Because actually email, I mean, I like it more, but also that's the thing that has given me more angst in my mind for some reason in the past. We've talked about that in previous episodes.
Yeah,
but I feel like I've moved past that.
I guess it depends on, obviously there's no context. This was generated by AI, but I guess it kind of depends on
this is
like
Winston's,
when they
Just kidding.
when they talk about email, are they talking about like automation, like email broadcast to a list? Or are they talking about like getting it out of your inbox? I don't know. Like
It's a freaking robot, man. I don't know.
When it comes to a communication medium,
Yeah.
I'd much rather people communicate with me through email than social media. When it comes to a medium to drive traffic, I prefer email to drive traffic over social media. When it comes to
Context helps, I guess. Yes.
Yeah, you know, for a lot of that kind of, in almost every case, I think email is better than social media. I actually can't think of any cases where I'm like, well, social media is better for that.
I mean, there's obviously struggles on the email side when it comes to deliverability, getting in the inbox. And,
yeah, but what issues do you have with email that you don't also have with organic social media?
well, that's the thing. It's like that's happening on social as well.
Yeah.
So it's changing all the time. Obviously, I would still pick email over social for sure.
Yeah. So thanks, Jarvis, for the question.
Thanks for the question. What's one thing that you wish people would stop telling you to do?
You're still working on that.
Yeah, I'm still working on it.
It's a good question, then.
That
It's
one
making
actually
you
is a
think.
good question. Yeah, to stop doing. Like, that's what, like, I don't think, tell you to do.
So what's something that I constantly tell you to do that you wish I just stopped?
You don't really tell me to do much, though.
True.
I'm usually the one telling us to do more.
Yeah. I'm
So
usually
that's
the
why I'm
one
like-
telling us to do less.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think I'm more of the one that's the harder critic. It's more that's like an internal thing for me more than an external, if that makes sense. Like I feel like I have more of a desire to do more things and do certain things in my mind rather than an external input.
So what do you tell yourself to do that you can stop telling yourself to do?
Dude, I think
That's the question.
There's just a million things that my brain. Okay, so it goes to wanting to figure out like more deals. Like, hey, let's get some more affiliates for PodHacker. Hey, let's go read this book, or let's go reach out to these people and connect them and figure out like what are they doing? How can I help? Like, I don't know. I just like my brain is always looking for new ways to collaborate or new ways to build something or solve this person's problem, help this person over here.
Can I answer how I thought you would answer?
Yeah, because I'm not struggling as much with this as much, but yes, I would love to hear.
Well, when
external.
no,
inputs.
internally. So like when you were saying internally stuff that you think you should stop telling yourself to do, which is,
I know it's a weird.
it's a very sort of paradoxical question.
That's why I had to reread
grappling
it like
with.
5 times. I was like, hold on.
But your brain maybe tells you that you should check email more often than
That would be accurate.
and that's where I was thinking you were going to go is like.
I like it.
I'm constantly
Yeah.
telling myself I need to check in on email, but in reality, if I just checked in on email like once a day, I'm probably good.
Nailed it. I would say that is any communication form, actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't just say with email. That is a social. That's like Facebook, and that's my text message. That's checking notifications.
Yeah.
But it's not for notification's sakes to clear them. It's to like respond to someone or feel like I have an open loop that I want to go do here. But yeah, I would say it's accurate. Cool.
Sweet.
Yeah. So stop that shit, brain.
Yeah. The next question that popped up from Jarvis is actually one we could probably make a whole episode around.
Yeah, I know. I was
But we could just do like a real quick hit list, right? So the question was, what are the 5 best ways to get more traffic, right? And that's obviously sounds like it could be a whole episode.
I mean, we could just riff the top 5 that come from both of our minds separately. So we'll go popcorn back and forth,
Okay, so SEO,
going on other people's podcasts or live streams.
Google Ads,
This is throwing it back old school. I don't know if it's actually the best anymore, but I guarantee you it'd still work. Is email ad swaps,
email ad swaps.
getting someone else to basically promote you and you promote them for something freebie.
So we're at 5, but I have 2 more.
No. That was 2 for me and 2 from you. You're on your 3rd. We're popcorning.
Oh, well, I thought we were popcorning to get to 5.
No. We're popcorning 5 each.
Okay, so I said
stretching.
So I said SEO, Google Ads, and Facebook ads.
Okay. YouTube.
Our email list, mailing our list.
Start a podcast.
Shit. Well, I mean, now we're getting to ones that like might be good traffic sources, but we probably don't use them ourselves.
Wait, did you say Facebook ads yet?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
I said
good.
SEO, Google Ads, Facebook ads,
Okay.
email marketing, and I guess our Facebook group.
Would you really call that a best source of traffic? or
No,
ways to
I
get-
wouldn't. But
So then don't put it on the list.
but
You
we
could do
probably only
better.
have like 5 really good sources of traffic for our business, and we've already listed them all.
Well, I would challenge that. I think that our Facebook group is great. It's great. I wouldn't say it's more traffic. I would say
I'd say it's probably our 9th biggest traffic source, which is where we're at right now.
It probably is, actually. It's probably up there. It's just not a boatload of traffic, but it is consistent and focused traffic.
So what
it's
would your
probably
last one be then?
The best traffic? Yeah, I would say that's okay. It's up there. Something around communities are always something. We talked about email already, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we already said email. So
Affiliates.
say what?
Affiliates.
Yeah, actually, yes.
Affiliates would have actually
100%.
should have come a lot
That
sooner
should be like
on
the
list.
top 1 or 2. Yeah, for selling. So yeah, affiliates. There you go.
Yeah.
So there's 10 sources of traffic right there. Hopefully that'll make the notes. So go get the action guide at flowchartgroup.com. You want to get those. How about another question is
Is this from Jarvis or a real human?
I
You
don't
decide.
know. No, this one's from Winston Whittles. So shout out to Winston. He is the one in the Facebook group, the only one that posed another question. So please don't leave us hanging next week.
hustleandflowchart.com/ask. We just set it up, so there's no questions on it as of this recording, but hustleandflowchart.com/ask. Go there. Ask us a question.
Yes.
Be like Winston.
Be like Winston. Okay,
And
so
Jarvis.
he asked, how do you figure out sales projections for a product or service? Let's say you get a new affiliate product to promote, or maybe you are trying to figure out if it is worth you promoting, and you want to project how many sales per day, week, month it will take, or that'll likely bring in. What is your process for figuring that out? Is it just you testing, or do you have some basic numbers for you to start with? Do you look at any specific metrics, market size, where and how? Do you look at the cost of traffic for those keywords? Thank you. You're welcome. So yes and no, I guess.
To be honest, when it comes to affiliate products, was he specifically asking about when we decide what to promote as an affiliate?
Yes. New affiliate products.
Yeah, I mean, we actually don't really. So our affiliate marketing is much more based around relationships than it is around market metrics, I would say, right? So when we decide what products to promote, it's usually because it's something that we use in our own business and we're like, other people need to know about it. I would say that's probably our number one motivation for promoting stuff is us going, holy shit, this is really cool. Others need to know about this. Example being conversion.ai
New and
Jarvis,
novel. Yeah.
Right? Like tools like that, ConvertBox, ThriveCart, Members Pro, a lot of the tools that we've promoted over the years, we looked at it and went, we use this ourselves. This is cool. We need to tell other people about it. And we've even, promoted products that we don't get commissions on because
that happens all the time. Yeah.
Cool tools,
yeah.
Right? So I don't really feel like we work off of metrics in that way. We kind of more go, if we like this, other people on our list are probably going to like this. Other people in our audience are going to like this.
I would say we do have some metrics though that we want to at least hit on, because we were just talking about this last week actually, but
we even break our own rules on those kind of things. So
we do, yeah. So Winston, nothing's hard and fast. Like this is like you just have to do it. But yeah, I think it starts with like, do we actually like this thing? Do we use this thing? Is it new? Is it something? Can we put a unique spin on it? Can we teach something about it? Like using a KST blog post, something that we can give a ton of value but still promote this product. And so the KST would be like a really good thing to probably like run with, because you can make a bunch of KST type tutorials, a blog post, or even a YouTube or a podcast. I know you have a podcast as well. You can freaking test some stuff out, almost like without feeling like you're promoting something, and like feeling like you're selling, I guess, a lot. You can almost like test out offers with content like a KST process, which you can just go to the blog and find it.
Yeah. Well, we in our affiliate promotion engine course, we talk about this sort of 3-phase model that we use, right? Like one was like I don't remember the exact words, but it was something like dipping our toes in the water.
It's like proving the concept,
and then going all in, I think, was the third one. But basically the way we typically do it is we might write a blog post about a product and see if that hits, right? Or we might just
use Jarvis for that.
Yeah, or we might just write like an email and send it off to our list and not even have a piece of content. It's just an email talking about the product.
Yeah.
And if that kind of converts and people seem to like it, then we'll go, okay, that worked well. Let's kind of take it to the next level. Let's take it to phase 2. Phase 2 is typically creating content around it, right? Phase 2 will make a blog post and or YouTube videos and or a podcast around it, and we'll start creating products or content around that tool. And now we've kind of gone a little bit deeper. We've kind of evergreened the promotion in that way, because people will discover that content and then buy the course off the back of that. And if that does really, really well, and that sort of cranks up a notch, our third phase is to go all in. And when we go all in, we buy a whole domain name around that product. We create a whole bunch of content around that product. We'll create a YouTube channel. We'll create bonus packages. And we just go, okay, everybody needs this. Let's do whatever we can to get it in front of as many people as possible. And we just go real heavy. So I guess that's sort of the way we do it. It's a kind of like
a phase thing,
of phasing into it. If anybody's been through our affiliate promotion engine, that's the model that we teach, is to kind of test the waters, go a little bit deeper, and then go all in if it really kills it for you.
Another reason to be on our email list, if you are not already, is about a month ago we shared a full affiliate email sequence that basically taught this strategy and a lot more for free.
Yeah.
And so definitely, you know how to do it. I've said the URL far too many times.
Yeah. But it's flowchartgroup.com.
There it is. See, he didn't though.
I haven't said it enough yet.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, my quota hasn't been met.
Yeah. So Winston, that's hopefully that helps you out. And I would also say the one last thing, actually, because we were talking about this last week, is, figure out what modality you are going to promote something on. So not even talking about the content really, but it's like, how much real estate do you want your email list to maybe promote this specific tool or product or whatever it is, rather than maybe your own product or service or something else, and like, is the return going to be enough for the affiliate product as compared to something else that you could promote that might generate you way more money?
Great point.
Or be a lot less energy to create.
Yes.
But so that's your email list, but think about maybe it's more fitted for YouTube. Yeah. And or a blog where you can actually like, hey, maybe we can get some more, search love in people, eyeballs on this thing, potentially if you're hitting a good keyword or something. So that was another thing that crossed our mind last week. So we're like, hold on, there's some of these promos that we do where sometimes we're just like, damn, that was a lot of effort for not a lot of return, like the commission rate or just like the price point's way too low.
One of the best products we ever actually promoted was something that we just promoted inside of our Facebook group. When we promoted that free plus shipping Justin Brooks retargeting recipes, we literally put a post inside of our Facebook group and said, this book is awesome. We've actually been following a lot of these recipes for our own ads. We were legit. We had a copy of the book. We really did use the recipes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And we mentioned that we did, and we put like a link to where you can get the book for free. You just pay shipping, that whole deal. And that thing just kicked butt for us.
It was consistent. It was just in our Facebook group, like pinned to the top as like some banner image or something. And
that was where that worked better, and we tried mailing our list, and it actually didn't hit as well mailing to our list, but just sitting there at the top of the group is like, this is one of our most recommended books. It just kicked butt.
There you go. So whatever platform or modality, wherever your audience is, just, I would say, think of the type of promotions and where they should live as well, and compared to the effort and the return that you might get from those efforts.
Yeah, I love talking affiliate marketing. If you have questions about affiliate marketing, go to hustleandflowchart.com/ask.
I guess we have a lot more thoughts than I thought about these. Sorry, to cut you off.
We always tend to, which is why I like answering questions.
Yeah. All right, Winston, great question. Keep it coming for next week too, bro. You're on a streak here. Good one.
Yeah.
All right, so
couple more from Jarvis here.
We're running a little long, but
yeah, we can crank through all these ones real fast and then wrap it up.
Let's do it.
All right, so how can you get over your fear of public speaking and connect more with your audience? This was
start a podcast and just do it.
100%. That is the answer. I was very much an introvert, and I started my very first podcast to try to get over the introversion, and it worked.
Well, I was scared shitless since up until like senior year of high school. I was shy. I was never the one that wanted to stand up in front of the class and do anything, like talk. I didn't want to really be seen there. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't far after, like when we met, I was only a handful of years in. Actually, my first thing was to join a band.
Oh yeah, that too.
That was for both of us.
That was my first sort of like public. Yeah. Outside of school, that was my first like getting up in front of people by choice.
Yeah. Luckily, there was some liquid courage when you had to do. I mean, obviously, you could do that in a podcast if you needed to, but you don't want to sound like an idiot.
Yeah, but who does that?
Who does that? Cheers to that. So there you go.
400 episodes in, we still need our liquid courage.
I mean,
I also did Toastmasters for a while. That was helpful.
I mean, I mean, I guess anything that forces you to get
repetition.
Yeah, that's all it is, and it helps. I guess the band, I liked that because I had a little thing like this guitar to hide behind a little bit.
Yeah,
but just go.
This next one we actually already answered. It's just on there twice for some reason.
Okay, all right. So why is system thinking beneficial to a business, Matt?
Yeah, because you can automate everything and not work so damn hard all the time.
Yeah, I put this in there because this is when I grabbed because I was thinking about that live stream that we just did with Rich again.
Can I give some context? So inside of Jarvis, there's different areas where you can generate topics.
Yeah.
The first handful of questions, we used the blog post topic generator. These last few questions, I think it was the YouTube topic generator, right? So
yes, and there were less inputs on the YouTube generator side.
Yeah,
you're right.
So some of these questions came from that generator. Yeah, that one's almost like fairly self-explanatory, Jarvis.
Yeah,
like I'm sorry, but I think most people listening understand why systems are helpful.
I just put it in there because actually, when someone joins our Facebook group, like, a lot of people were saying systems thinking and stuff like that. So this is for y'all that are thinking systems are important or why should I have systems? Yeah, that's why this podcast can still exist over 400 episodes in. And it just feels like we're not really working too hard.
Yeah.
We're working the right thing. So I would say,
well, the stuff we're doing, it doesn't feel like work is the thing.
Right. Yeah. We've systemized with automations, or we've hired people around us to do the things that we're just not the best at, or it doesn't bring us joy.
Yeah.
So they can do a much better job, and they enjoy it far more.
Far more.
All right. Last question. How great leaders develop a...
It's not a question. It's a topic idea.
Oh, it is. Yes, that's right. This one has no question mark at the end.
Yeah.
This is why I like Spanish. They start with question marks. I know the context of the sentence. All right. How great leaders develop a state of mind and how their mindset affects us. This was another one when people joined. It was mindset in general, and how that applies to business was a big one.
Well, I like this question or this topic actually, and this is actually a topic.
And the statement's really interesting too. But go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts first.
Well, so first of all, I actually think this is one that you and I could probably do a whole episode around because we both just read this book, The Psychology of Money, and we want to do a whole episode where we kind of riff on what we learned from that.
Maybe next week.
And this topic.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Should I hold that to you?
Yes.
Okay.
You should, because I'm blasting through the rest of the book, and it's not. I have like 2 more hours to go, so we're good.
Cool. But that topic is something that kind of comes up. Is that we want to model great leaders and great thinkers, and we look at them and go, look what they've accomplished. If I can kind of do the things that they did to get to where they are, then I can do what they did, right? But that's not reality. There's so many other.
I can't be Elon.
Well, you don't have the same unfair advantages that Elon has.
True.
Right? There's another book. I haven't read it yet. I've read a book review on it, and it'll probably be one of my next books that I read. It's called Unfair Advantage, which is the same kind of topic. One of the examples that came out of The Psychology of Money is someone like Bill Gates, right? So Bill Gates, a lot of people look at Bill Gates and go, okay, so he took these actions, and if I took the same actions, then maybe I can be where Bill Gates is, right? But the thing about Bill Gates is Bill Gates, he grew up in a town that had a school, that had a computer, and he had like a 1 in, a million chance of being in a school that had a computer at the age that he was, because computers weren't prolific yet. They weren't.
What was it? The only high school?
It was like the only high school in the U.S. or something that had a computer on it, and he managed to get into the class with the computer. So like the location that he was born and that he went to school with was part of his advantage that got him to where Microsoft is, right? But people ignore some of these sort of advantages that they had growing up, thinking that they can repeat the same thing, but they don't have all of the same sort of dominoes lined up in the exact same way that this person that they're trying to model had those dominoes lined up in.
Yeah, and another, I think it was around that same part of the book, and next week we'll pick up on this and go deeper. But when you're studying experts, a lot of folks will just study a singular person and model them, like Gary Vee, Gary Vaynerchuk. Okay, I'm going to create my content like them. I'm going to create my podcasts and videos like that. I'm going to brand myself like him. I'm going to speak like him. I'm going to work like him. I'm like, but do you really? You can't really. So to your point, but also the book argues that you should be studying more of the macro, like the trends, rather than the individual, because that individual has all those things. Yeah, and rather like start to actually study a plethora of folks that you might want to model, but really look at the bigger picture and get more data behind that, so you could see more of a trend. So it allows you to kind of shine your light or navigate that direction, rather than be like, I need to be like Gary Vee, because you're definitely going to hit a brick wall sooner than later.
And people are actually like repelled by people who are sort of not authentic, right? They're like, we all kind of have some sort of like subconscious radar where we could tell like somebody's not totally being who they really are, right?
Sure.
Like,
energy is not feeling right.
Like if we ran into somebody and they were talking to us just like Gary Vee, and they were spouting off the same sort of topics that Gary Vee talks about, and
crush this,
they were
my new book that just came out.
Like we would all sort of read into like, this guy's trying to be somebody that he's not. And I think we tend to actually be repelled by the people who we see as inauthentic, or like we can read right through it, right? And I think you and we struggled with this in the very early days of our marketing career, of like, we were looking at guys like Frank Kern and John Reese and Mike Vilsaime and all of the quote unquote gurus at the time.
We modeled them perfectly,
and we were just like, we got to do things the way they do them and kind of be more like them. And at the time, like I was, we were following Frank Kern, and I had like this long hair and like a beard and like a very,
you actually looked a lot like him.
A kind of like a surfery look. I wasn't actually, I kind of had that before I knew Frank, who Frank Kern was, but once I learned who Frank Kern was, I'm like, I kind of look like him and act like him a little bit. Maybe I'll just lean into it a little more.
I feel like there was definitely, and I feel like everyone, there's a searching phase when you don't know what the hell you're doing. I mean, that's what we talked about with Rich this morning. The whole way that I think we found our way, and we've always found our way, is we've studied others, but we regurgitated what we learned, the concepts from them. We didn't regurgitate. We put it in our own, we threw it through our filter in our minds.
We curated the ideas.
We curated it, but we also made it our own. Like these concepts in our mind, we just molded them to us.
Yeah.
And
idea sex. Right?
Yeah, that's
like
right.
James Altucher calls it idea sex.
That's right.
Like you take concepts from this book and this person, and then you mold them all together, and now you have your own kind of
through
view.
A personal filter as well. Yeah, you're right. So I think we did a lot of that when we were starting out, because we still consume a lot of content, but we actually were like just talking to the camera back in the day with the flip phones and stuff, or the flip thing, the ZI8s.
Yeah.
And I think that helped us, that helped us at the time kind of navigate, okay, what should our voice be? But there was definitely took us a while, I think, with the context, and, you have a brand and a show like this, you kind of like start to, it's almost like, I don't know, there's like, it's interesting because you have to make your own lane, but it's tough, man. So the mindset thing.
Yeah.
This is what I like about the question. So let me read it one more time. How great leaders develop a state of mind and how their mindset affects us. I think this piece right here is what fascinated me the most, was how their mindset affects us. Mm-hmm. Because I know if I'm in a crappy mindset, that's going to affect you. Mm-hmm. It's going to affect if we create a podcast episode that's like that I'm mad or you're mad or some whatever mindset's off thinking about something else, then the content's going to be not as good. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to think about the mindset of the person, the leader, a great leader, whoever that is. Maybe it's your boss, maybe it's some leader in the world, the president, or it could just be your wife, your husband, someone that's leading whatever activity. But like that's all going to affect us in some way. But it's interesting when it comes to like business leaders. Yeah, like it's definitely at all. Like you said, just not showing up right. Like, what's up here? So mindset. This is why we love mindset. And I feel like a lot of what we've done lately and talked about is this. Yeah. So hopefully our mindsets are even better than they were just a month ago.
Yeah. Hopefully they're better than they were an hour ago. So I think we just proved the point that Jarvis can actually. Well, here's the thing. Like that's one way to use something like Jarvis, right? Is like you don't have to let it create all the content for you, but it could give you the prompts. I mean, we just created 30 minutes worth of content based on prompts that artificial intelligence just gave us.
And it took us all of 5 minutes to maybe generate these things. Yeah. And we definitely tossed out a lot of them, but that's kind of the point too. So with Jarvis. And you definitely should pick this up. I think if you go through our link, don't you get like 10,000 words for free or like bonus? I think they're added to your
10,000, some sort of credit, like 10,000 credits or something like that. So
go to hustleandflowchart.com/conversion. We should probably update that to Jarvis too, but whatever.
Yeah, we'll probably have /Jarvis also. But
/conversion, hustleandflowchart.com/conversion. Sign up and start dinking around with these things, because these tools don't start off with boss mode unless you just want to.
Use the templates that are built in.
Yeah, like that's all we're doing. And guys like Joe Kern's on our team writing all the emails. He's a nerd. Nerd alert. He's all about the boss mode.
Tell you what,
we want to get there too, but we're not there yet.
If you grab conversion.ai through our link,
are you gonna throw it? And you gonna throw in some hitcho?
I wish I was gonna throw in some HO, but no, the logistics of that are not great.
Okay.
But if you do grab conversion.ai through our link, we'll throw in all those automations in let's throw in the document that Joe Kern's made of like all of the prompts that you could plug in to build out an email automation sequence.
There you go. So go to hustleandflowchart.com/conversion. And when you do sign up for that, send us an email to support or something?
Yeah, info@evergreenprofits.com, and we'll send you a link to where you can download all of the documents and automations for your email sequence.
Yeah, and the email sequences, if you have not seen them, like I said, it's like 5 emails. Like these content briefs for every automation are intense. You learn how to create a welcome series. There are welcome series, there's a lead magnet series, there's a nurture sequence, there is a buyer, and then there's a re-engagement sequence. So those are the 5, and each one has its individual Google Doc that tells you what it is, why you're doing it, the type of email, or like the structure of the email, a checklist to make sure that you're hitting all the emotional triggers. What else? It's also giving you like whatever string of emails, like let's say 1 to 5 emails. It's going to walk you through every single email and tell you exactly the kind of intro you should have, the meat of the body, like what are the prompts that you should be thinking of, so you can then use Jarvis to then start to build your own little recipes, and it'll just spit out the content for you, and then you can just crank through these emails. And you can also import this if you have ActiveCampaign, or if you're searching for an autoresponder. We highly recommend ActiveCampaign. You could just one click, all those automations get fed into your account, and then all you got to do is just fill in the emails, and guess what? You now have an automated email sequence. You're welcome. But that's going to be free for you when you go to hustleandflowchart.com/conversion.
Yeah.
Go sign up for that plan.
Sweet.
Damn, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was really cool.
Head shows hit the spot.
It did.
Not bad,
my
man.
tequila flavored LaCroix.
It is. Actually, that's a perfect representation of
It's like
what this is.
if you took a lime or a lemon LaCroix,
Yeah.
and you took a little teeny shot of tequila in it, a little drop of tequila into it. That's what it tastes like.
Yeah, that's good. So pick it up if you can.
Not sponsored
Not-
this episode.
But we will gladly accept more
I've
free
crushed
head
this
show.
can as I've been
You
drinking
have.
because
Crush it on your head, Matt. Do it.
My fingers are. Well, I still have drink in there. That'd be weird.
Oh, you're crushing your can pre.
Yeah, no, I make a better grip for myself. It's a more ergonomic grip for my drink.
I think that's more
Do you
impressive.
really want to do that next to our podcast equipment?
You got to see YouTube to see what I did. All right, no, I don't want to do that actually.
Actually, I don't even know if that shows up on camera or not.
Yeah, well, you missed it.
Yeah, we do
All
have
right.
some calls to action to make.
We do. Yeah. So first one is our fabulous sponsor,
Yes,
Hustle and Flowchart. That's us.
we
No.
sponsor ourselves now.
We sponsor ourselves. Yes, we don't talk enough about ourselves. Easy Webinar. Easy Webinar. They're hooking you up with a fat discount. You've heard us chat about these guys and gals. They're amazing.
Live webinars, automated webinars, hybrid webinars, live streams. build
AI
up-
webinars?
You could
They're
use
coming.
Jarvis. I mean, use Jarvis to make the presentation.
Shit.
Yeah.
Shoot.
We can't cuss in the middle of a sponsorship spot.
God, Casey would be like, no, you guys. No, yeah, Jarvis is a great idea because the cool thing, Easy Webinar, it's building all, or you can build all the pages within there that you use for your webinars, your registration page, your thank you page, your live page, your replay page, all that stuff. Use Jarvis.
Yeah.
Why not?
Easy. Yeah.
It's literally,
Have it build your headline, your bullets, your all of it.
yeah, I mean, your freaking Jarvis will, and this is definitely creeping on easy, but like, okay, what would we use here, Matt? I'm just looking through, you can, you have headline helpers. You have
Explain it to a child.
Explain it to, you can build this whole thing out. I guarantee if you go to the Jarvis community, someone is building out presentations using Jarvis.
Yeah.
And if they haven't, you should be that person because you'd probably make a lot of friends. Yeah, you can make
All
a
this to
perfect
say,
headline.
yes, you could probably use automation and AI to help you generate a webinar. But once the webinar is generated, use Easy Webinar. And Easy Webinar is hooking you up with a discount over at easywebinar.com/hustle. easywebinar.com/hustle.
Get the discount. Those guys rock. They will support you. They've been around for a long time. They are the go-to webinar solution. easywebinar.com/hustle. What else we got, Matt?
If you're not already, make sure you join the Facebook group over at flowchartgroup.com. That's also the same way you'd get the action guide. So when you sign up to the group, you can get the action guide for the latest episodes. You got to be quick. Do it within 2 weeks of this episode going live. We'll give you the action guide to this episode. If you're beyond 2 weeks, then you got to become an Evergreen Profits member, and then you get the entire backlogs of all the action guides for every episode we've ever recorded.
Ooh, really?
But for now, go to flowchartgroup.com, get your free action guide, join the Facebook group, and we'll hook you up there. Engaging questions. What are we doing here?
I don't know.
Tequila.
But, it was,
Audience nurses. Just leave it. Sad tone of voice. Audience nurses. Topic tequila.
okay, let me put some context here. So I have the monitor open, and I clicked in Jarvis under their tool called Engaging Questions. It's in beta mode, so who knows what's. And it says, ask your audience creative questions to increase engagement.
Okay, so maybe change the audience from nurses to like entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
But I think you should leave the tone of voice as sad.
Okay, so here are the only 3 inputs. This is literally what Jarvis is going to, I'm going to crank out 3 different outputs. I put the topic as tequila, because why not? The audience is entrepreneurs, you, and the tone of voice.
Sad.
Sad. It must be very late night with tequila in the system.
All right.
So I hit generate, and bam. Hold on, not yet. It's still thinking. Jarvis, hurry up. I think this. Oh wow, it gave us a lot of outputs.
It gave us like
all right, wow,
15 outputs.
This could be interesting. All right, so the first one it came up with is it says number 1, how many shots can you have before being too drunk to work?
For me, probably 2.
Yeah, two would after 2 would be pushing it for sure. What are your thoughts on work-life balance?
I like it.
Have you ever been hungover because of the morning after a night of drinking?
Who hasn't?
Yeah, exactly. You haven't drunk enough. Do you drink tequila often or... Okay, hold on. Do you regret any decision that you've made while under the influence of tequila that day?
Only this podcast.
Yeah, it's true. Are you enjoy the feeling of being drunk? I swear, we're not proponents of drinking
If
and
we're
working.
broke, should we drink tequila to come up with new business ideas? Come on! That's a great one.
You probably should, actually. I would be a proponent of that. Why do I drink so much tequila when it only makes me happy for that 1 hour? That's actually
These questions are getting more intense. Got really drunk on Tuesday and had a hot date lined up, but how could he show up looking like me? That did not make things better. Seriously. What are we even reading now?
All right, so number 3, it says, when was the last time you drank so much tequila that you woke up in an unfamiliar place with someone else's underwear on?
Oh, man, this morning.
True story. I heard about it.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, read this one.
What does the word tequila bring to mind for you that is different from what others would say after they read this post titled tequila? What word does tequila bring to mind?
I mean, I guess it could be funny.
For whatever reason, that when I think of tequila, I just think of Mexico. Because pretty much the only time I ever drink tequila is if I'm like in Mexico.
Oh man, you got to explore further.
Yeah, I just don't.
Further, my friend.
I just don't drink alcohol that often.
Yeah. All right. So the last one here is, what is your saddest memory of drinking too many ounces of delicious 100% blue agave tequila in one sitting?
Oh my gosh, that
Your
is a lot
saddest
of adjectives in there. Saddest memory, delicious, 100%.
Blue agave tequila. Your saddest memory. Jeez. Those
don't
are
have-
things you want to forget fast.
I don't know. I can't answer that question. I don't have any
can't either.
sad memories. But anyway, those are some
was
engaging
fun.
questions about tequila for entrepreneurs in the sad tone of voice.
Oh my god. Yeah, I guess we should have actually read them in a sad tone of voice.
Oh,
Oops.
next time. We'll do a
Whoops.
lot more with Jarvis on this podcast.
I think
guarantee
this
it.
engaging questions thing is actually kind of interesting.
Eventually, you won't
I've
even
never
know
used
if
it.
it's really us or not.
All
Except for
right.
if you watch the YouTube video,
Yeah, I guess you'll see us hiding behind our
which is at
mask.
hustleinflowchart.tv.
Go there, subscribe, please, comment, like, share.
The episode of 400 calls to action.
Yes, I know. And if you're on YouTube, we're testing out the clips and all that stuff, or whatever the shorts are. But I guess you can start like clipping YouTube videos, and I think we're gonna make our video. Oh, we just crushed it. Good one, Matt. Start clipping some of our YouTube videos. Test it out. I'm kind of curious of what those things do. If you go to hustleandflowchart.tv, I don't even know how to do this, but I was told.
You can do clipping stuff.
I think so.
Oh.
That's what I was
Yeah,
told.
go try it. Maybe
So-
we should try it.
Maybe we should try it, but also if you get to it before us, go start clipping our videos and share it. I'm just kind of curious of how that works.
Yeah.
And also what you like and what you don't like. Well, I guess it would be what you like if you clip it and share it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a new feature. Go
You
check
can
us
clip
out on
parts you
YouTube. I
don't
think
like and
it's
share it and be like, hey, I didn't like this. What did you think?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with that too.
That's
as
okay.
long as you're sharing it.
All right, last call to action because we haven't had enough. Go rate and review and subscribe and all that fun stuff to this podcast.
Yeah, we want to read more reviews, but there hasn't been a new one since our last recording. So go leave us one.
Sad face. Make
Sad
us
face.
happy. Tequila's not doing it for us. But good reviews and more subscribers do.
Tequila will make me happy for 1 hour, and then that hour is gone.
Well, Matt, unfortunately,
Sadly.
we've been recording for an hour 23 minutes, so our ship has sailed. We got to get the heck out of here.
We do have to get the heck out of here.
Thank you.
All right.
Love y'all.
Bye.